Well, hello there, my friends. It's me, Stu, here for you. And today we have a treat with the one and only Becca T-Bon. Becca, thanks for coming on and joining me here today.
Oh, it is so my pleasure. I'm so excited.
Okay, so we're going to be unpacking what you did to launch and grow your membership. But before we get into the nitty gritty about the membership, let's just first kind of get a lay of the land. Who is it that you serve in your audience?
Yeah, so I serve women 40 plus, and I say that I'm 58, and so I actually most of my members are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. The system works for anybody, and I have youngins in the group too. But when you focus in on who you want, it is such a game changer. And I was always scared to really get down into the nitty gritty. But Stu, you really helped me nail that down.
Well, okay, hold on. I think everybody watching and listening is like, well, hold on. Did she just say she was 58? Like that can't be. So time out. So you've been working with women, as you said, 40 plus. And what have you been helping them with?
Yeah, so I created a system called Power Bands. And before you, they actually weren't even called Power Bands. They had a couple of different name changes. And you talked about your wife, Amy, and her tribe, and she had a her in her tribe. And I'm like, at that very moment, I heard Power Bands. So Power Bands get sent to people. There are 3 resistance bands that you are the machine in my tribe. And these bands are like no other. So we created specific glute bands. You can't find these anyplace else. So I manufacture these glute bands. And, one of the things that I learned from you is, you got to tell your story. I
Mm.
forget to tell my story. And it's so important. So just real quick, real brief, you guys. I was born very unhealthy. I missed 20% of my elementary school years. They didn't even think I'd be walking at this age. And I got to tell you something, I jump. So, I do off-road races. I'm in total fit condition. I started working out at 7 years old. I've had a couple of hits. And one of the big hits that I got was being hit by a car going 21 miles an hour on a bicycle. And at that time, I was going through a divorce, and my dad just died. So all in 90 days, I had a complete devastation where my cup that runneth over suddenly had no water. Like there was not even a cup. And for the first time in my life, I was devastated. Actually, and I'll share, done. I actually told God on January 9th, I was ready to come home, and He changed my life.
Mm.
He completely changed it. And one of the things that I related to you was that you are a man of faith. Your family is a man of faith. And that was really important to me. I don't like push God to anybody else, but I am a woman of God. I have a sand dollar as my logo. For those of you who know, I was born in the Jewish tribe, so I celebrate everything. I'm a full Bible-in. But in the health area, I was born very ill with congenital health challenges for pulmonary, digestive, and skeletal. So I was in and out of hospitals, and um, I guess I was just the I can do kid. Well, even with that I can do, there was a lot of I can't do. Dyslexia, missing all that school, it really tarnished who I was in here
Mm.
as much as I thought I could progress. So having amazing coaches, I have found to be like a game changer, and it helped me to be a better coach having a coach like Stu, because he brought it in, he dropped it down, and he gets you to do it. And for somebody with some of those challenges with dyslexia and stuff, sometimes we get screwed up in our head. And so you made it like dummy down and so simple that I took his free course that he offered in April. I think I jumped in like a week late too. So I jumped into that, bought into your course, and within 4 days of your course, which wasn't a membership back then, you just had that course. I changed over. I was like, okay, I need to do an 8-week reset. I need to get some good testimonials. I need to do this. I need to do that. And it just changed the whole spectrum of what I was doing. So
Okay, I want to unpack this, Becca, because there's a lot going on here that you just shared. Like, first and foremost, one of the things that you talked about is the importance of belief in who we are and what we're doing. And I heard a whole lot. I heard that you help women over 40 with their fitness, and there's a much bigger why behind that, as you were talking about. And I think that's a really important piece to this whole puzzle. And then you talked about this, the importance of belief. And I think anytime that we are teaching and helping anybody learn a new skill or overcome an ongoing problem or anything of that nature, there's inherently this part of the process that doesn't get talked about, which is there's the strategies and the tactics, but there's that inner game as well, which is just as important as the outer game. And we, as you mentioned, as coaches, like when we're helping people in our memberships and in our courses and in our programs, it's really important that we spend time there rewiring the beliefs of our members so that
Right.
they believe that the transformation is actually possible for them. And I'm sure you see this a lot with the women that you are working with in your market. Am I right on that?
Oh, 100%. And my program is only 17 minutes. So you have doubt in that. Like, I'm in this shape. I've done this for so long. How is 17 minutes going to help me?
Mm.
And, my answer is I have testimonials, I have proof, and I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't supported. But here's the thing. If you can do 17 minutes, which you can, right? And each of the exercises is broken down in 40 seconds, which you can do, then you can do the next best thing for yourself. And you're so right about the brain set with it. I was doing, and I still do every day, a daily sticky note.
Mm.
And we then set out these things called the mouse in my pocket, reset, right? We reset ourselves every single day. Do we have a great day every day? Maybe not. But my formulation in my head is create your best day ever. And I sign out with create your best day ever. If you start your day and you end your day knowing that you had your best day ever, and if things didn't go right, you give them to God, you reset, and you start your next day. And so that's been the philosophy that I've always gone down with. Well, I just found out, and I've been using sticky notes for myself for the last 20 years, but there's neuroscience behind these babies. And so you guys out there, listen to this and use this. I do this when I speak on stages. Everybody that I speak on every stage, there's a sticky note on everybody's chair, because I know when you change your environment, you're 40% more aptly to get what you want. When you write it down on a sticky note, 64% more. So that's 104% more likely to get where you want to go by owning it, changing over your environment so your behavior patterns change, and writing it down so that you remember and you engage in what you want to do. Simple and easy, right? So simple and easy. Like drinking water. Create your best day ever.
Nice. Okay, Becca. So I want to talk, because you also mentioned there, like, well, when you first came through the workshop, it started to spark some different ideas for you in terms of, how you were delivering your services, so to speak, for your audience and members. So talk to us a little bit about before, like, how were you helping women with their fitness before? Was it primarily through course? Was it simply through selling the bands? Talk to us about what the business looked like before.
Yeah, so I had a really unsuccessful membership. I had everybody fail. So because I was doing too much, giving them too much, doing a monthly challenge, a 30-day challenge every month, I was burnt out writing them, teaching them, scripting them, and engaging them with it. So everybody was getting burnt out. I had like a coming to Jesus moment. Sorry, just like I poured it out to them. I was like, you know what? You didn't fail. I don't know what I'm doing in memberships. I'm a great trainer. I'm a great coach, but memberships is a whole new thing. And at that moment, I said, I'm going to take 90 days and reformulate this. And then bam, somebody introduced me to Stu. I'm like, yes, you're exactly what I need at the exact moment that I need. And so I did. I went back in and I was just did something. I thought they were going to do this system that I created. I created a proprietary system. I poured over almost $100,000 into a system so that people could create their own workouts. We have over 250 40-second workouts. The power bands, just to step back for a half a second, they're every day, 4 exercises, 40 seconds each, done 4 times. You're done. 17 seconds, 17 minutes. All right. And so I created 250 40-second exercises. And then you can go in and you can say, oh, I want to do biceps. And you would pull down biceps and all the exercises for biceps would come down. So I did this for every body part. And what I found out after spending all that time and 9 months, could have had a baby, well, maybe not at 58, but what I found out was nobody wanted to do it by themselves. They wanted to have a coach show them what to do, be there with them and show them exactly the workout to do. Well, that was just such a game changer. So the 8-week reset that I created as soon as I met Stu pivoted my company for what I thought was a brief New York moment where I was just introducing people, getting more testimonials, and then bam, I was going to put them into my system. But that's not what they asked for. They said, what are we doing after this? I said, oh, I'm glad you asked. They were so excited. They, within 3 days, feeling the changes in their body, the changes in their attitude, and the changes in their behavior. They're like, what are we doing? I'm like, oh, I have a system for you. So I walked them through that system and they're like, no, we don't want that. I'm like, oh, so tell me what you want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Oh, they told me. They want me. They want me live. They want me coaching them. They want their form. They want their accountability. They want their sisterhood. They want what they had for those 4 weeks. They wanted that to continue. I said, oh, no problem. Hold on for a second. I'm going to get you a New York tall glass of water and I'll show you what you're going to do in 2 weeks. So I went back to my drawing boards, created a membership based on what I just did, and went out and was selling 8-week resets. But here's the problem with that, Stu. Every 6 weeks, the doors open to go sell.
Right.
And then every 2 weeks, you're closing it, and then 2 weeks to get people engaged and make sure everything's. Yours truly was, again, like, everybody was doing well. But after a year, my members were like, do you have to keep on announcing, bring your members, bring your friends, and, bring your friends and family. I felt like I was, one of those companies, right? Just bring your friends and family. Let's do this. Let's do it, And so I got great referrals, but there came a point where they didn't want to hear about the doors opening again, right? They just wanted to
stay in.
They just wanted to stay in and not hear about how to bring other people in, the great referral program. They didn't want any of that. So I decided everybody's getting burnt out, and I was either going to just do like a 1 year, open the door, come on in, and then shut it for a year. And I got scared. I got super duper uber scared because that required a lot of advertising. It required a lot of input, intake. I wasn't quite ready for it. I don't know if it's necessary either. And so what I decided to do was the complete opposite. The doors are open. They're 24%. They're 24/7 open. You can sign up at any time. You come in, you get started. There's even a set program where when you sign up, you could get started the next day, even while the bands are on their way. So there's a body weight workout set up for you. And it's gone on into a couple of different arenas. So yes, my primary goal is to change the lives of women 40 plus. And it's not just in the workout. The workout is like my way to get to them. So I'm glad you realize that, because it is all about the brain set. It's about the mindset. It's how you gear yourself. So I was reading a card every day, and then they would write notes about what they're going to do. This year, we're doing something a little bit different. We're studying under Dr. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where each week now, right, we're dumbing it down even bigger. Each week is a conversation. Each day we're nailing it down deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's been working out really, really well. They come up to the screen like this when I speak, and they are just like listening, like I am delivering to them something that is so heartfelt. And I have seen such massive changes. Women, their bodies are changing. Their relationships with themselves, with food is changing. Their relationships with others are changing. They're saying their productivity in life, in their businesses, has changed. I've had people who said during COVID, they were feeling like they were on the brink of leaving horrible, deaths, people leaving, horrible things, desperation, depression. And this 17 minutes was something that they could look forward to every day. It was this bright, cheery person that came in, boosted them up, gave them energy. And when you work out, it changes the hormones in your body. I'm not going to go all the way into all that, but it changes how you feel, how you think, your energy levels. Those people who were staying in bed, no longer staying in bed. People who are ex-marathon runners, triathlons, they're loving these bands, as well as my couchies who never worked out, hate to work out, and hate their bodies, body shame themselves to a horrible place, and finding amazing results in every arena. And so that's what I really love about the bands themselves, because no matter what level you're at, these bands meet you, and everybody can do 40 seconds. So
okay, there's a lot of things here, Becca. I have to catch up with you. So I want to unpack a couple things for everybody watching and listening, because you said a few key elements that I want to highlight. One, you talked about you had all of these workouts available, hundreds and hundreds of workouts. 250 that people could go in and build their own, daily routine, weekly routine, monthly routine. But at the end of the day, they preferred having somebody, yourself, do the thinking for them. I get asked this question all the time about content as it relates to free content and paid content. And the question I get asked is, well, why would somebody pay for my paid content when it's readily available for free? And the principle is the exact same with how I answer that question with what was happening inside of your membership. You can have all the content in the world, but the reality of it is that people don't have the time to sift and sort through it all to find the things that are relevant for them. They want it served on a platter. They want the convenience of being told, do this workout, this many reps, and this amount of time. And then tomorrow, you do the thinking for them again. Do this, do this, do that. They don't want to have to do that thinking themselves. So that's a really big lesson, and I appreciate you sharing that. The other thing that you said was that it was lonely for people to be going on this journey by themselves. And what they truly valued was the accountability and the community that came with the other members. And they truly valued, being guided through that journey by you. And I think those two things, community and guidance, are a big, again, piece of the membership puzzle that we often lose sight of. The focus tends to always be on the content, but we lose sight of the fact that when people know what to do and how to do it, that's a part of the puzzle. But it's being supported through that journey that's another big piece of that puzzle, which is where, as you mentioned, the accountability, the community, and certainly the guide and the coaching comes in. And then
100%.
lastly, I've got another lesson that I pulled. I was writing it down. That's why my head went down, Becca. I'm writing it down. You talked about how your membership was always changing. And I wonder if you can just take a brief second and just kind of speak to that, because one of the things I see a lot is people starting a membership site for the first time have this, I think, internal belief that the content they are about to create is like what they're going to be stuck with forever. And so they procrastinate in getting going because they overthink, they overanalyze, like, it's got to be perfect. Because once I start, I can't stop. Like, this is it. Yeah. But you and I both know that that's not the case. So can you kind of speak to how your membership is always changing based on your members' needs?
Always changing and changed again. So 100%. When I changed over from just doing the 8-week resets, and we now have 6 different membership levels, first of all. And so people can come in at an annual level with a 2-payment type of system, pay a little bit more, but have 2 payments. They can come in and just come for the month for $17 and have only replays. So I have a whole back system that's called the Playground. What do you call your hub?
Yeah, our membership hub. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So my membership hub is called the Playground, and so it's a one-click easy system. Once they get there, they can get to my Amazon store, they can get to my YouTube, they can get to anything that the keys to my queendom is what I call it. You're right. And so you have different levels of keys, and so somebody who wants to just come in and have me live and they only want to pay by the month, it's $51 a month. But if you pay for the whole year, it's down to $31 a month, right?
Mm.
And so there's different levels, but it's gone even further than that, because one of our systems, and I have separated now my power bands from my 17-minute program. So it's 17minuteworkouts.com is where you would come in, you would buy the bands, and you get an 8-week reset. That's how you start. So it's $117. Imagine that, right? And so it used to be $197 to get started with the reset. But as we're growing bigger and able to afford it, to make it easier, less expensive, and more tempting for other people, because that's what I want. Yes, I want money, 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 money. I've got 3 girls, 2 in college. It's not cheap, won't lie. But what I've also want is 5,000 people in my membership. I want to make it super easy, people to love on themselves, feel better about themselves. I'm in here to guide women. I make money as a result of doing what my passion and purpose is. And so, that's been a whole game changer. I barely was making a nickel before I was part of your membership. And, I had my first, double-digit month within 4 months of being part of your group. It was a game changer, a huge game changer. And as a result, Power Bands, which is the name of the bands, I don't know if you can see that. It's taken on a whole new, it's its own business now. It's its own business. I sell these to other trainers. I go on other trainers, influencers groups. I train with them. I show them how to use these bands. And we just signed on. Are you ready? Give me a drum roll. We just signed on our first partnership with a huge multi-million-dollar company called Jump Sport. They are a trampoline company, and they're going to feature our bands and bundle our bands with their trampolines. And guess what? I get to write all the programming, create all the video, and then they drive them back to my membership. Pretty cool, huh?
That's amazing. Okay, so let's pause here for a second, because couple key lessons from your journey thus far. One, you talked about how you raised your prices and then you found your sweet spot. And I think that that's important, because where you started charging is totally different than where you are now. Talk about just real quick, what was the price point when you first started?
I'm almost embarrassed. $47.
$47. Now, is that per month?
That was for the bands and a month of training.
Got it. Okay. And so where is it now?
So now it is $117 and 17 days of training, or they can buy the bands for $69 and get 17 days, excuse me, or 117 and get 8 weeks. So, but what happens with that, and the reason that I've moved numbers around and played with numbers so much, was, and I was afraid, because these people came in at 197, they went down, they went up. And I'm like, you guys, you're my founding members, so you're on this trial with me. So know that you've got the results. I am here with you, but I'm trying to figure out pricing. And they're like, okay, because, I went down. I was like, shoot, I went down. Can I go back up? And I said to them, okay, I just gave you a gift for 8 weeks, but we can't make it at that number. We've got to be here. And they're like, okay. So I don't know if anybody else has ever done that. I felt a little skitty doing that, but at the end of the day, I'm a trainer, right? At the end of the day, I'm a mind-body trainer, not necessarily a finance major. And they were okay with that. I said, we've got to figure out this business together. I've got your mind, body, and spirit connected. The numbers, not so much. So just hang out with me as I play with this. And they were totally cool with that. Thank goodness. And when you're like totally authentic, real, and vulnerable with your people, they're very forgiving. I always thought I had to have the answers. I always thought I had to know what I was doing. And I got to tell you, it's all of that not. It's like, you don't know. I know where I'm going, and I know the big things that I'm doing. And these bands go on stages. I do corporate wellness. I do a lot of fun stuff aside from my membership. But the membership is like, it's my daily love. It's the thing that I get to do, touch people's lives and see changes going on. It's my passion. I I could never not do this. I'll be doing this until the day I
can see it and I can see it and hear the passion. So for everybody watching and listening, a couple key things here. One, when it comes to pricing, it's way, way easier to start low and then raise your prices up versus like starting too high and then having to come back down, as you pointed out. But even if that happens, like you're never dead in the water. Like, and as you talked about, I think part of the journey that we're on is being able to have that relationship where you're openly communicating with your members. And when you do that on a regular basis, it's a relationship. Like, it's not a transaction. Like, this is the big shift that I think a lot of people, when you make it, it relieves that pressure that you got to get everything perfect. Because when it's a relationship, it's just about communicating and communicating often with your members. And I love that you had that relationship with them to talk about, you know, how you were changing and learning with the membership. So, Becca.
Well, I do want to say this also. Understand when those members came in, every 8 weeks they were charged $197, right? So those founding members, they were paying $1,182 a year for me. So when I dropped it down, yeah, they were grateful. But when I went up to $648, it was like a no-brainer for them still. You know, so they were already paying so much money. So yeah, I don't recommend doing what I did. But it's not the end of the day, especially when you start so high,
right?
And then you dip down. I had room to say, I hope you enjoyed your discount, right? So now we're gonna hit where we need to go.
Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, so talk to us about you know, your advice for others who perhaps are thinking about a membership, or in your case, like you had a membership and it wasn't doing well. So, and you've turned it around now. So what advice would you give for others who are in a similar position?
Well, no brainer, jump in with Stu because he's done it, been there, and has guided so many different types of memberships. And I don't remember how many there are now that I've been away from the course for a while. I think there's 3 major types of memberships. Okay. And so mine was like a combination because now we even have a course added into it, which is an entry-level membership. I have now a 17-day challenge that I create. We did an ab challenge, a glute challenge, and this month we're going to be doing an upper body challenge. So for my key members, my premier members, they get them for free. Everybody else has to pay $17, and it's also open to the general public. So it gives them a nice way to kind of come in easy and inexpensive and get a like feel for, oh, this 17-minute thing, it actually works, you know? And so it's kind of just been my little carte blanche. And I am also reinstituting my 5-day reset. So it's just $1 and people can come into my live workouts for $1. They won't have the bands, but I use and help them, guide them through other things that they can do while we're doing the band so that they can just see that 17 minutes, anybody can make time for themselves for 17 minutes. That's my message. You've got to make time for yourself. You've got to make sure that you take care of yourself. And to answer, you know, to go even deeper into, because I'm a squirrel, I segued out, but get back into Stu's question about memberships. Hello. You can't do it by yourself. It was so helpful to have and ask questions and read what other people were asking, because sometimes you don't even know the question, right? And so that's what I found for myself. It's not just so much about getting an answer, it's about knowing the best question to ask. And so when you have thousands of people in a membership that are going through similar things, even though it's not the same type of membership, and they are you know, asking questions, and you see this plethora of, you know, conversations going down that supports them. It's not just Stu coming in and helping us and coaching us, because he pokes in, and so do all of his trusty and amazing guides. But we have like the knowledge of other people's experiences that come in and answer those questions. So I found that to be really helpful, because I was a little shy at the beginning. I didn't know the right questions to ask, so I was just kind of like reading through other people's things, and it helped me to better understand why I was amiss and what I was missing, you know, so I can get back on the boat, right?
Yeah. Well, Becca, this has been awesome, buddy. I appreciate you. Lots of big takeaways, for everybody as it relates to memberships. Like first and foremost, we talked about the importance of doing the thinking for your members and making it easy for them to be able to find their path. At the end of the day, people are going to come in and they're going to be at different parts of the journey of learning whatever it is that is being taught inside the membership, and being there to be able to guide them, make that easy, and make it easy for them to find what they want, a real big, important piece. The other thing, big takeaway, is that people don't want to do it alone. It's no matter what we're trying to learn, what we're trying to master, what problem or challenge we're trying to overcome, doing it with others who are on a similar journey is tremendously rewarding. We have a hashtag in our community we always use, and it was where we're better together. And that's really true with the membership.
That too.
and so that's another big lesson. And then the other point that I loved that you shared was just that the membership is always changing. It's always changing, and we're always trying different things. We're always testing different things, and we're testing it based on what our members are wanting and asking for. And I think that was another big lesson. So Becca, thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
Where can people go to find out more about you?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to step on that. Like, I do polls all the time. I never did polls before because I was afraid to ask. I thought I had to have the answers for them. So ask. And to find me, I'm on Instagram, Becca Tebon Fit, BeccaTebonFit. BeccaTebon.com is my main website, but Power Bands, Powher, POWHERBANDS is another great spot. So if you want to just get started and try it out, I'm happy to see you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Becca. And I just want to say, as you heard Becca, before she had a membership that it wasn't working for her. And sometimes when you're, starting something new like a membership, if you haven't had the experience and the guidance before, you may not know, what you're doing, but you're in the midst of it. Well, if you'd like guidance on that, the great news is we got a great free workshop that starts next week. It's membershipworkshop.com. Go there. It's all free. And we do this one time a year. And right in the beginning, we're going to talk about how to know whether your market is a fit for a membership. I'm going to walk you through an assessment that will give you tremendous clarity to know whether your market is a good fit. We're also going to dive into questions about content and what do you provide and how do you launch and how do you market and so much more. The workshop starts next week. It is live, it is free, and it is amazing. We do this one time a year. Come join us. All you got to do is go to membershipworkshop.com. So with that, Becca, thank you so much for joining us, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you. You guys, you got to go to membershipworkshop.com. It is a no-brainer. You're going to learn so much. You may not even need his other course. No, just kidding. There's so much dropped in. It is so valuable. You got to go to it. And thank you so much for having me, Stu.
Thanks, Becca. See you, everybody. Take care.